Namaskar, myself Dr. Yogesh Patingi, Assistant Professor in Commerce, GS College of Commerce, Varda. Today we are starting the first unit of International Business Environment, and in that particular first unit we are going to start the first point, features of international business. In last lecture we discussed about the syllabus and question paper pattern. Actually that is our start of any subject, but we have to discuss syllabus and question paper pattern. Okay, may be your examination will be of not offline nature, maybe it will be online nature. That will be the part of future. The university will tell us what we have to do. But we discussed in last lecture about the syllabus that we have to go along, and also the question paper pattern. Uh, Before starting this particular point, the features of international business, again I just want to tell you that I always try to give you 8 points for 16 marks, because this type of question will give us this type of questions are of 8 marks or 16 marks. So for 8 marks you have to write 8 points, but the description will be less. For 16 marks the points will be 8, but you have to elaborate that particular option, that particular thing in a more detailed manner. You have to write a very lengthy answer for 16 marks. So that is another thing. Before going to features of international business, let me explain you what is international business. The thing that we explained in last lecture, that up to this particular education state you are in, we just discussed about domestic business. There are very less topics that you studied, might be have studied international business, because when you broke your domestic boundaries, the boundaries of your nation, and start business with other nations with the help of different treaties, with the help of different organizations, with the help of different rules and regulations framed by this type of organization like WTO, NAFTA, UNCTAD, OECD. All these type of institutions, organizations are there which governs the particular trade, particular type of business, frame the rules and regulations for their constituent or member countries. These type of things get applicable to your business when you get out of your nation and do start a new business, or just do an import or export with other countries. Then you will be in a scope of international business. That thing we have to study when we are going to study our topic or the subject international business environment. So as our subject, the title of our subject is international business environment. Here actually we are studying internal, external environments, the various things which are applicable to that particular business, international business, which the rules and regulations, all those things are actually we are going to study in this particular topic, in this particular subject. Now moving to this particular topic, features of international business. That's why we are going to study international business. What are the features? What are the things that we are going to study in this particular subject? First thing, actually when you talk about international business, it is actually on a large scale operations, because when you are actually communicating with other country, other company of other country, it's a very simple thing, to consider that the operation scale should be at a large level. It should be a large scale operation, because only then you will get a benefit of what we can say the cost cutting things. Because for example, if we think about China, we generally talk about China, about this thing that they have a large scale operations. That's why it is actually affordable them for to cut down the cost of their things, their products. That's why generally we do get the product of China at very less price. The reason behind that is they have a very large scale operations. They actually use the optimum capacity of the labors. They use the optimum capacity. They use the optimum capacity of other resources, and with the help of that, so they actually do a large scale operation. So that thing is a first feature of international business, because when you consider international business, it should be at very large scale operations. It is always at a large scale operations. They actually have the operations at very large scale. The second thing is integration of economies. When we do a domestic business, this business is within that particular nation. It may be interstate business, but again, there is only one economy of that particular nation. They have common rules and regulations. But again, when you come out of your nation and do international business, there is the integration of economies. For example, a company from India is actually doing a trade or doing some import or export to the nation of United States of America, to company of USA, then actually there is integration of economy. The economy of India is going to integrate with economy of USA. They have to communicate on a same platform. They have to work out on a same rules and regulation. They first have to what we can say just come to a particular point, come to particular stage which is common for these two parties, these two companies, and that thing is called as integration of economies. Because one nation, if wants to do a business with other nation, there is an integration of economies. There is an integration of rules and regulations. There is an integration of laws which govern the business. That is also one type of feature of international business. The third most important points are dominated by developed economies. We generally do talk about developed nations, developing nations, underdeveloped nations. These are the states where these are various states which actually differentiate different countries on the basis of their developing status. Means, for example, if we think about our nation India, we generally is a part of a developing nations. We are in that particular phase where we are developing. We are not completely or fully developed. We are not underdeveloped or undeveloped or less developed. We are in a situation where we are a developing country. It means that every sector, everywhere we are working on a status where we are a developing nation. But again, when you talk about international business, most of the international business is being dominated by developed nations. It's okay, it is not a completely 100% correct statement, but it is a completely it's actually a complete domination by these countries. If you go as a percentage, then China, America, France, Germany, all those nations, even Japan, Israel, Australia, these nations, these developed nations have a major share of their what we can say the export or import in the particular international business. So we can say that when we talk about international business, that international business is actually have a very high domination by developed economies. Okay, we are there, India is there, but again when we see the share of our nation, then it is merely about 2% to 3%. Just 2% to 3% share in an international business for a nation which is at number 7 or which is actually among top 5 countries as if we compare the economy, then it is not a good thing, a good sign for that particular for India. We have a share of 2% to 3% international business. So there is always a chance in for our nation that when we are saying that it is dominated by developed economies, we have a chance to enter, to penetrate this section and be a part of international business and to increase the shares from 2% to 10% and even think beyond that. That thing is also a feature of international business. The fourth point is a benefit to participants. Because when one country participate in international business, ultimately it is going to benefit. Because if they are exporting something, they will have international currency with them. Because more international currency it will strengthen your financial capacity, it will financial what we can say the status of your nation. That's why generally if we watch any news channels or read some newspapers, there you will see that the foreign currency reserve is being mentioned, and that is being mentioned in dollars, because the most influential, the most strong currency, international currency right now is a dollar. So the more you have dollars with you as a exchange, as a what we can say reserve, it is a good sign for that particular economy. How you are going to get dollars? You have to increase your exports, because if you are importing something, you have to pay the dollars. If you are exporting something, you will receive, you will gain dollars, you will get dollars. So you have to increase the exports. But again, it is actually a situation where you have to give someone, you will get someone. So you just can't rely on completely 100% export. Okay, you can increase the export things, you can increase the quantity of export, you can increase the percentage of exports. But it will not be possible for any nation that they are 0% import and 100% exports. because in that case it will not be good for another country which is actually going to do a business with you. So these things are actually the balance of trade things, where if you are importing something you will have, if you are exporting something you have to import something. So these things are there, but again it is in a favor of nation in which where just a nation wants to earn more dollars, they have to do export, they have to increase their exports. That thing will be favorable for any nation. So that is actually benefit to participants, where we can say that when we talk about the features of international business and the participants of international business, these are the benefits where they will earn more foreign currency, because foreign currency is directly equivalent to the status of, or what we can say, strong status of that particular economy. That thing is a benefit to participants when you talk about the features of international business. The next point that we have to discuss is a high order competition, because here there is a cream of companies who are actually participating in international business. For example, if you are competing with a mobile giant like Apple, it is not easy for any company, because that is the number one company in the entire world if you see from the angle of capital. When you compete at international level, the companies which are there, they are actually giant. Means, for example, if you talk about Amazon, if you talk about Apple, then Alphabet, which actually runs Facebook, WhatsApp. These companies are the giants in their particular sector, and it is not easy for any company to compete with this type of companies. That's why we generally think that high order competition is there in international business. The next point is the role of science and technology. As this point we already discussed in last semester syllabus of service sector management, that each and every sector is being controlled, run by the developments in science and technology. Because if there is no infrastructure, particularly infrastructure related to IT, then it is very hard to run that particular sector very easily. And if we see the science and technology, actually every day is being a new for that particular sector. Every day there are new innovations, new challenges are being there. Nowadays we are talking about artificial intelligence. Even maybe in future there will be no human interference there, and everything is being controlled by robots and artificial intelligence. So international business is actually raising its bar, actually having new challenges every day because of the role of science and technology. So and there is no problem of capital in this particular business environment. As if we talk about a domestic company, there will be challenges right from the capital. But if we talk about international business companies, actually they don't have that much capital. The problem with the capital, they can heavily invest in research and development, R&D activities. They can heavily invest in science and technology development things. So that thing will be possible, that with the help of role of science and technology, international business can flourish. The next thing is the regulations. If you are doing a business with other country, you have to follow the rules and regulation of that country also. Means, for example, if you are exporting something, but if that country specifies that that exporting product that they want that product in that particular specification, you have to follow the specification. These things can be compromised in a domestic business, in a domestic environment. But if you are actually doing a business in international business environment, you have to strictly follow the rules and regulations framed by these countries, or as per your contract with that country, or as per different organization which actually coordinate these type of businesses. Means, for example, World Trade Organization is there, who actually have the role to formulate all these policies and rules and regulations about a business between two countries, or between a group of countries. Then it is very necessary for these participant countries to follow the rules. And if some country is not follow the rule, then it will actually get barred from that particular group, or they will get a penalty from this from the organization, World Trade Organization. So regulations and to follow the regulations is very important thing when we talk about international business. The last point is a sensitive in nature. Why we generally talk about sensitive in nature? Then we have a very good example of China and Pakistan. Means, for example, we are actually very emotionally attached with these two countries. If something happens with these countries, that generally it happens at the borders, then it straightly affects the business activities. So if something happens between a war-like situation happens between India and Pakistan, or recent situation between India and China, then generally it affects the business activities, because it directly affects the sentiment of the people of our nation India, because we are very emotionally attached to our what we can say, our nations, and if some country just declare a war with us, then we generally tend to think that we are not going to buy the products from that particular respective country. So these things are very much actually these things are emotionally attached things that we generally happen in international business. That's why we can say that international business is a sensitive in nature. So these are the features of international business. I just wrote here the 8 features of international business. But again, when we talk about international business is actually what we can say is very important thing for that particular nation to get developed, to earn more and more international currencies, to maintain the currency reserve, and to what we can say, to get from a block of undeveloped or underdeveloped nations to developing nations. That thing is very important when we talk about international business. So these are the features of international business. Next lecture we will talk about again one important point, importance of international business. I hope you understand today's point, features of international business. Next lecture we will be with the importance of international business. Thank you.